Hello, ladies. Welcome back to the Pretty Fearless podcast with me, Morgan Tracy J. And today I am going to be talking to you all about Christian girl, you need to date, okay? Because the truth is, I dated a lot, and that actually helped me meet my husband. Being willing to date allowed me to be open for the right one, okay? Let's talk about it. If you're new here, girl, I would love for you to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube family. Check us out on Apple and Spotify for we're podcast or host. And today we are going to be talking about how so many of us feel like it is ungodly or that we're not allowed to date, okay? I've even heard so many teachings based off of this before that, oh, God never called you to date. He called you to marry. And so you should not be dating. You should just get married. And to be real, that is a really limiting, not healthy, not safe mindset to have. If you are not willing to date, then you're not going to know what you like and what you don't like. And then you're also going to be so naive to things that could really affect you, okay? And I always say dating has been such a pivotal part of me getting to know what I like, don't like, getting confident enough to express what I like and don't like. So many of us, including myself at one time, had this belief that God would just send my husband and he would come knock on the door, or it would just be the right time at the right place, whatever. And that is partly true. I do agree. But I do believe that there are certain qualities that I wanted my husband to have that I did not even know fully what those qualities was until I dated men that did not have those qualities. Right? I realized that there were certain lessons that some men had to teach me, some things I had to learn, even growing within myself when I was dating certain people that actually blesses my husband today, okay? For example, there has been some relationships that ended really bad that actually made me so grateful and so thankful for my husband, because I'm like, man, you are really a stand-up guy, right? Like, you keep your word, man. Like, it made me just so much more thankful and so much more appreciative of a good person. Okay. Also, there were some relationships that I was in where I realized that particular person taught me the skill of communicating better. So now my husband benefits from that, because now I know, okay, I got to be able to tell you what's really going on. I can't just slide this under the rug, right? I got to be able to communicate my feelings, because I was in a relationship where someone was like, hey, you got to communicate. You just shut down. You can't do that. You can't just go ghost. Like, you have to communicate. I learned that in that previous relationship, so it actually makes me better now. Because I want to tell you this, girl, there's so much danger in just waiting, okay? And I always say this, like, I'm never the type to tell you, girl, wait for that husband, wait. I tell you to become. As you're becoming, that putting you in more of a position to where you can find somebody that's really great for you. But if you're just in the waiting state, you're going to be waiting for years and years to come versus not building anything. I would rather you look up and you meet somebody 4 years later, but you've built your career, you've built your life, you've built so much great things. So this person is an asset to you. Like, when they come in, you're like, do you fit the mold? Amen. Do you fit that mold, right? So I would encourage you, girl, dating is necessary. But if you are still feeling guilty for dating, and you have to understand what I mean by dating, I'm not saying go and just entertain anybody and then sleep with them. No. Dating is getting to know someone, getting to courting, like them courting you, getting to know them, getting to go on dates, go out to eat, go to a coffee shop, get ice cream. Doing that teaches you, are they even worthy of my time? Are they a person that's really good? Do I enjoy their company? Do I like them, actually? Because what happens is when we do not date, there's such a danger that the first guy that says, hi, beautiful, that's my husband. I don't know about y'all. Oh, that's my husband right there, because you don't allow yourself to date. If you would be like, oh, I'm going to date, the first guy that says, hi, beautiful, you're like, hi. And you're looking like, do he look like what I feel like my husband would look like? Do he carry himself? Is he you're more thoughtful versus naive, like, oh, there's my husband now. Like, no, girl, it's not that. It's not like that. And if you're still thinking like that, then you're really gonna, girl, you gotta watch yourself, because you can get hurt real easy. I will say, some of us is like, well, Morgan, what shifted in you? Because there were seasons I did not date. I did not feel led to date. But what shifted is I started to desire men more. I started noticing, like, I would be at a coffee shop and I would like want to catch eyes with a guy or something, right? I remember I started getting approached a little more because I was open to that. I will say, the seasons I was not open to dating, maybe in 5 years, maybe 2 guys approached me. When the moment I was open to dating and I was going out more, I was going to skate nights, I was going to coffee shops, I was going to the mall, like I was just going and exploring thrift stores, I got approached so much. I mean, so much. So I do believe, ladies, some of us carry around this energy of please don't approach me. Some of us carry around this energy of I don't want you talking to me. And that's the truth. And sometimes we just don't see the men. I shared this before, but I remember I was at a skate night with a friend. And it was when the night was over, she was like, "Oh, that guy was feeling you." And I was like, well, "Who?" Like, and she was like, "That one guy, he kept coming around. He was talking to us. He helped me when I fell. And then he was there again." And girl, I could barely even remember the guy's face. Okay. I'm like, "Who are you talking about?" But that was also in a season when I was not truly open to dating yet. Like, I wasn't fully there yet. I was getting out a little more, but I was not even open to chatting with a man, right? So when you are operating in that, you're really got some blinders on, which is good for a season, girl. But you can really be in a dangerous situation if you keep them blinders on and you're like, "Oh, God is just gonna send my husband at the blink. He's just gonna knock on my door one day, or he's just gonna be at the door, just in a package delivered to my front door." And that may have worked for some women, but I will tell you that did not work for me. I had to date. I had to see what I liked. I had to see what I didn't like. I had to see the men that were pretty good, but I felt like our lives wasn't compatible, like, "Oh, he lives all the way in Florida. I don't want to move to Florida. I don't feel God leading me to move to Florida. I'm not going to do that," right? So I had to pay attention to that. I also had to realize the men that were truly just mentally unstable. You don't know that if you don't date. Everybody has their representative on when you first meet them. They're charming, they're nice, they're sweet, they're going to tell you so many great things. But as you date them, the mask slowly comes off and you start to see the real them. Prayerfully, they don't even have a mask on, but over time you have the time to see, "Oh, he really gets really mad at traffic." Like, he's like cussing at traffic right now. I didn't even know he cussed. Hold on. Right? And then more things start to show. Okay, girl. So I'm just trying to tell you, dating is necessary. Some women are afraid to date because they're like, "Well, I don't want to go through bad relationship after bad relationship." But I want to tell you this: if you're not giving these men your body, then you are actually protecting yourself in so much greater ways, okay? And also, too, it's so easy to say, "Oh, I've been doing purity for 5 years," when you haven't dated. But if you say, "I've been doing purity for 5 years," and you were dating all through that, I gotta applaud you, because purity is way harder when you're dating someone that you're really interested in and you're very attracted to. It is so hard. I went through my first 5 years of purity pretty simple because there was nobody I was talking really to. I wasn't really interested in anybody. I wasn't dating. But the moment I started dating, y'all, it started getting tough. I was like, "Oh, Lord, I didn't know it was like this," because I wasn't dating. So I want to encourage you, dating, but also embracing purity, like waiting for a year till you're married, whatever, however long that is for you. Waiting is going to protect you so much. So don't forget that. Like, I'm not saying go out here and date and then just be doing everything under the sun, girl. No. Protect your body. Protect your temple, okay? I did not know what red flags were until I started dating. Some of us will be with a guy, and it's because he's the first guy that told us we're pretty, and we're like, "Oh, wow." We're kind of naive that we're like, there's red flags going all around us and we can't see it, okay? And that kind of happened to me after my like first year, after my first 5 years of singleness. That first relationship I got into, it was like, it's got to be him. And I was really had these blinders on with this guy. And there was all these red flags, like, "Oh, you didn't tell me about that? Oh, you didn't. Why didn't you tell me about that like a year ago? We're year 2 and now I'm just learning that about your particular status, like, why didn't you tell me?" Very questionable things, you guys. And I'm like, "Whoa, red flag." Girls, you have to date. You have to date. And also, when a girl tells me like, "Oh, I don't want to date, I just want to get married," I automatically look at her like, "No, you don't. You just don't, you don't got a lot yet." Like, and this is what I mean. If a woman is just like, "I just don't want to really do that, I just want to hurry up and get married." We've heard some of those stories about people that have done that. But some of them people either were really young, out of high school, college, didn't have a lot to their name. When you carry a lot, you have to be very selective on who you allow into that, right? So if you're already got your own home, career, money, you're not just going to go and pick up anybody like, "Oh, we're going to get married next week," when I just met him 2 weeks ago. No, because you're like, whatever you can carry, whatever you personally carrying, sir, could be detrimental to me. So let me walk with you on this journey and see you for who you are. Let me review you over time too, to see if this is compatible and you are someone that is worthy to be on this journey with me. you know, because women who just want to quickly get married, usually you're wanting to be saved, and usually you don't have a lot going for you. Okay. But the ones that are like, I want to date you, and I want to kind of see you, and I want to kind of review who you are, and I want to see the good, the bad, the ugly. I want to see you with money, no money. I want to see you happy. I want to see you when you get cut off in traffic. I want to see when people don't agree with you. I want to see when your business ain't doing the best. I want to see all of that because I want to see who you are, right? I want to see when you get mad at me, how do you talk to me? I want to see who you are. Okay, ladies, you need to date. And when you don't date, it makes you very naive. And this is from experience, okay? When I was not dating, and then when I would get in a relationship, anything a guy would say, I would just believe it, okay? And because truly I'm a genuine person and I know like I'm telling the truth. And so I would just believe he was telling the truth. Like I'm like, oh, okay. Like that's what it is then. But the reality is that's not the case for everybody. So when you are not dating, you're usually just taking people's words and not looking at their action, right? So when you start dating someone and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to take you on a date," and then they don't follow through with it, you're like, okay, one little thing. All right, yeah, I'm gonna call you at 9, and then they never call you the whole night. You like, you won't know their character if you don't date them. Like you have to say like, "Oh, why don't you call? What's going on? Why aren't you keeping your word?" Like you gotta have to check that, but you won't know that if you don't date them, girl. You gotta date, okay? And because dating removes the blinders, and you're not really naive anymore. You can be like, I really don't like a man that don't hold down a job. He ain't had no job since I've been with him. So I had this aha moment in my late 20s when it came to dating because I was like, I need to date to realize who I should and shouldn't be connected to. And you have to remember, take the pressure off of dating. It's just getting to know someone. So you have that same mindset when it comes to friendships. You need to, if you have a friend or someone you're getting to know, you want to see, is this someone I should be connected to in my life? Like, is she a woman of God? Is she going to church? Like, is she truly after the things of God? And if you realize they're not, you're kind of like, yeah, okay, we cool, but I'm not going to be doing the most with them. And I remember this. I was working at a job years and years ago. This is before my ministry really took off. I was working at this job, and there was two girls at this particular job that I really grew fond to. Like, we would talk all the time at the job, whatever. And I remember she was like, "You need to come out. We need to go out and get drinks. Like, come out to dinner with us." Me and her and her friend always got drinks and went out to dinner. And she's like, "You should come, and we get drinks and stuff." And I said, "Oh, I don't drink." I said, "But yeah, I would love to come have dinner." And she was like, "Oh, girl, we need to get you. Oh, girl, you got to start drinking. We'll get you. We'll get you right." That's what she said to me. Right then, I knew, oh, this is not my friend. Like, this ain't somebody I'm gonna be close with now. Like, cause a friend of Morgan's would be like, really? Okay, good. Like, whatever. But I remember that I never went out to eat with them girls. I never did anything. Besides at work, I would chat with them. We would talk, whatever. But that was it. I kept that to a work friendship. The same way you do your like, you're trying to get to know people, and as in girls that are friends, you got to do the same thing with men. You got to see. I remember I was telling this one guy one time in college, and I was like, I used to drink, but I don't drink no more. And he was like, man, I wish I knew that, Morgan. You wish you knew the version of me that wasn't whole and that was getting drunk to work through to run from childhood trauma. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, but he wanted the wilder Morgan. He wanted the one, the one that wasn't this Christian version that he was seeing then. Remember that dating is you just getting to know people. Okay, that's all you're getting to know. You're just getting to know them. So the same ways that you will kind of review friends, like people you're getting to know, like, does she kind of follow the same thing I follow? Does she like the same thing I like? Does she like going to Bible studies? Does she like women events? The same thing you're going to do with that man. Does he like kind of the things I like? Is he a man that goes to church? Does he like the word? Does he like being in church? Does he love, those things? And I will say this, everybody you date will not be right for you. But that's what dating does. It teaches you to know what is right for you and what isn't. Okay. I remember I was dating this one guy, and he told me, I was like, oh, I love that ministry. I love what I do. And he was like, that's good. He was like, but when we get married, I'd rather you not do that. I'd rather you just take care of the kids. But he was in ministry as well. And I remember I was like, you wouldn't want me to keep doing my ministry, even though like I love it and it's this. He was like, no, I'd rather you not. I'd rather you just take care of kids. And I remember I was like, first off, I did told you I didn't even really know if I wanted kids, and now you telling me to stop my ministry. So I remember that right there was like, no, this isn't really compatible. And I kept saying like, oh no, I'm gonna keep doing my ministry. And he's like, I really wouldn't like you to. I would rather you not do that. I would rather you not be online like that. I'd rather you not be out there on social media like that. I remember him saying that to me. I'm like, oh, this isn't my person. Like, we're not compatible, right? We're not compatible. So that I will tell you, dating helped me see who was right and who was wrong for me. Okay, so now how dating led me to the one. It helped me discover what was right and what was wrong. It also allowed me to see a man that was way like it had I was able to see someone that stepped out of the mold of what I was used to. I was used to games, I was used to ghosting, things like that. I seen someone, oh, he isn't lying, he isn't ghosting me. He's actually keeping his word. So that made him stand out. What and it made me appreciate like this actually is a pretty decent guy, right? Also, it allowed me to understand how to go at a pace that God needed me to go at, right? Because what happens is when you're dating and you're trying to make this person your person, and you're like, oh, this has to be that one, you're probably going to go at a quicker pace than you really need to be going. And so when you're with somebody that you realize like they're keeping their word, they're honest, I don't have to go so fast. And I will say that Morgan, when I first met my husband, there was something in me that wanted to go fast. But over time, I realized I wanted to go at God's pace. And you guys, God don't always go fast. We want to go fast. We want to hurry up. Like I will say that first year of dating my husband, I wanted to already marry him. Like something in me already wanted to marry him. But I'm glad we didn't because there was still so much other things we had to learn. So much other things we had to learn. And I want to tell you that going at God's pace may be a little slower. Going at God's pace may take a longer journey. Going at God's pace because God is wanting to, He's wanting to refine you for your person, but He's also wanting to show you parts of you that you haven't conquered. So if you go fast, you don't get the chance to really see yourself. You don't get the chance to see, He doesn't get the chance to see all of you, and you don't get the chance to see all of Him when you go so quick. But when you take your time and you do it, you try your best to do it very honorable, guess what's going to happen? You're going to start to be able to be refined and say, oh, well, I do see that area right there. Oh, I see how he prays. And so I can pray for him in this area. And girl, you get the chance to do that. Like, so I want to say how dating led me to the one is it showed me that when I was dating men that wasn't probably really good for me, we always was trying to do things fast. Whereas when I was started dating a man that was truly good for me, I felt like God's pace was slower. Yeah, God's pace was slower than I even wanted. I wanted to go a little faster, to be real. But God's pace was a little slower, but it also allowed me to see every part of my husband. The good, the bad, the ugly, the things we needed to work on, the things he needed to work on. It showed me myself, things that I hadn't conquered yet, how I would just get mad at the drop of a hat or if something didn't go my way, right? It had to show me too. So my advice to you, if you're scared, nervous about dating again, remember, you're just getting to know somebody. It's all about connection. I'm just going to get to know you, and I'm going to see if you're somebody that I really would like to keep in my life. I'm just going to get to know you. Take the pressure off of dating and just think it's someone you're just going to get to know. That's it. Remember that every guy that talks to you and every guy that you date does not have to be your husband. Every guy that pursues you and you date doesn't have to be your husband. And you can be okay and be okay to realize that there are some good guys out there, but they might not be your guy, right? So the example with the guy that was a pretty decent fella, but there was some things about him that wasn't compatible to the way I want to live. That's okay, Also, remember that dating helps prepare you for your husband. It helps you conquer you. It helps you learn new things, and it helps you appreciate them more when they do come. And remember, it is dangerous to not date and just jump into marriage. You want to be able to see this person at all corners, okay? You want to be able to see all parts of them. And it's so dangerous to jump into a marriage and then realize somebody is something totally opposite of what you thought, okay? That's dangerous, girl. So court them, review them, see the challenges they go through, and see if they stand up, okay? Stand up against those challenges, okay? My last bit of encouragement is you can date, girl. You can date, you can enjoy that, you can get to know somebody, but also keep your boundaries and your standards, okay? Keep your boundaries and your standards. And the man that is for you will honor that. He will like that. He may not fully always like it every single day of the week, but he will honor that, okay? So make sure you keep your standards and your boundaries.